All right,
So
Chad, what's your favorite product? Let's put it out there.
I got 3. But let's start with this one.
Okay.
So Shofu is pretty damn innovative. You know, like they have a bunch of great consumables, polishers, composites, you know, polishing discs and so on and so forth. But we've already spoken with one of their pieces of technology, but actually they have several pieces of technology. And a couple of years ago, they came out with a laser. And if you're from Texas, you kind of collect like maybe like firearms. You know, you're like, oh hey, you know, I gotta have this one, I gotta have that one. It's just things that you gotta have. Do you shoot them? Not really. If you're a dentist and you really like technology, you kind of collect lasers. All right. And I tend to collect lasers. Now, I have a lot that I don't use, and my motto is that every single practice needs to have a laser. That doesn't mean that you're going to use it every single day. However, you have to have a laser. So I have a couple of must-haves for a laser. The first is that I would love for it to be wireless. I mean, several years ago, there was a laser from Denmat that was the NV laser. It was the size of a pen. It was fantastic. It was wireless. It did everything that we needed to. Little bitty diode laser. You could carry it around in your pocket as long as it was charged. And the thing is that about every 9 months, it would crap out on me. So fast forward, now the lasers that I had were wireless. They had filaments. They had this. They had that. And Shofu says, we've come out with a laser. It's wireless. And I'm like, all right. They're like, we'd like to send you one to try. And I said, okay. So I tell my assistant, I'm like, Kathy, you need to go to the back and you need to remove the other lasers. You need to make enough room for the same amount as that laser over there, because we're going to need to make a big space for this. And this thing arrives in the mail, and here it is.
It's crazy how small it is.
That's it. Yeah. Now, what I really like about this is 2 things. One is that what you see right here is the laser 2 inches in diameter. And then that's the footprint that it takes up. It's got a charger, it's got a plug, and it's got this. Boom. And the other thing is that when you feel this, I'm not going to say that it's heavy, but it's heavy enough to realize that it is sturdy, it is robust, it is durable, and it's going to withstand the test of time. So they sent this to me to beta test it. Now, the one thing is that when you've got something this small, there's a lot of safety features. So there's a lot of playing back and forth with the buttons. And I always joke with my patients, you're going to see me reading the instructions, but that's just because I need to make sure I know how to turn it on. I know how to turn it on into ready mode. I need to toggle. Yeah. And I said, but there's 2 buttons on it. That's it. I love that feature of it. I love that there's just 2 buttons. And when it fires, it's ready to go. I can use it for so many procedures around the office. The price point is nothing. You know, I think it's like, let's say $4,000 for this. Okay. Let's just say $4,000. It may be less than that. I always want to go over than under.
Yep.
This has been one of the best investments we've ever made into our practice. The beauty of it is that, you know, we have CO2 lasers, we have diode lasers, we have corded lasers, we have cordless lasers. This is my go-to. And the reason being is that I'm in the middle of a procedure. You didn't plan for it. Oh crap, I need the laser. Hey, can you go grab me the laser? They grab the glasses, they grab the laser. There's no foot pedal. All there is a little tip right here.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's bendy. It can be it can be initiated, non-initiated. It just depends on the procedure that you're doing. And it's a workhorse in the practice. It's freaking fantastic. As a matter of fact, what I thought I'd do tonight is I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to do a frenectomy on myself.
That's a great idea.
That's easy.
Let's do some crown lengthening. Just a quick gingivectomy up at the top.
No, just truly the DentaLaze is what it's called. I'm going to hold it up to the screen.
Yep.
DentaLaze. And it is a fantastic piece of equipment.
I'm going to say, I bought one. So I've been a Picasso AMD back in the old school days. And because honestly, Chad, when we opened and we really wanted, when we wanted to have a diode in our practice and we were young and we were just starting to open up, like price was a big deal. I just needed it to cut, and AMD at the time was the price point that everybody couldn't compete with. It was like $2,800. But I will say it was like this big unit. You had a corded laser, it had a foot pedal, all the things. And the way that we run our office and the way that we manage our overhead, I'm not going to buy a laser for every operatory. So that meant we were moving lasers around, picking it up, unplugging it, plugging it back in, doing all this kind of stuff. So AMD's gone through some life cycles with the company and there's been some challenges and these are not overly expensive diodes. So we're sort of in that situation. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to try out the Shofu laser because I love the fact that it's wireless and I really think that would be better for us, that we could move it between operatories so much easier than what we're currently doing. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And I will say, I don't like a CO2 laser because I actually don't like the weight in my hand. I don't like the counterbalance system. I've really struggled to find a CO2 laser that feels really good to me, that I think, oh yeah, I could do a whole class 2 prep with it. It just doesn't feel good. I don't feel the weight of this diode at all. I don't feel like it's cumbersome or uncomfortable. And that's coming from a diode that had really like a pencil almost for a tip. That, the AMD or the Picasso laser tip was very light. I don't feel like when I pick up the Shofu laser that I'm like, oh, this is super heavy. I can't imagine doing a whole procedure with this because I think I would get tired. It's super comfortable. Super comfortable.
It really is. And that's what I say. It's heavier, but it's almost like going from an air-driven handpiece to an electric handpiece.
Correct.
The electric handpiece is let's face it, if you were to compare apples to apples, it's going to be much heavier for an electric handpiece versus an air-driven handpiece. However, there's power that comes with that electric handpiece that you're never going to go back to the air-driven handpiece.
That's right.
And so I find this to be just a really beneficial piece of technology to have within your office. Now, it is going to be, the thing that scares me is like, when you're talking a diode laser, I'm going to compare it to, let's say, a Mercedes or a Lexus. When you go to a CO2 laser, you're upgrading to a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. All right. But that's because of torque. That's because of power. That's because of so many things. Yeah. This is not going to cut like a CO2 laser. But quite frankly, if you're not an experienced laser user, a CO2 laser is going to scare the absolute living crap out of you when you first use it, because it'll cut through a frenum like butter. It'll cut through, you'll fillet that tissue in no time. You've got to have some experience. This one here is basically an electrosurge without all of the pitfalls and downside of said electrosurge.
Yeah, and I have an erbium, an Nd:YAG, I think, or no, an erbium YAG. I have an erbium YAG. I have diodes. I have PBM units. I have all kinds of lasers in the practice. Regardless of the sophistication of your laser portfolio, if you will, a diode is just a tried and true workhorse that will hop from operatory to operatory. And I'm telling you, Chad, while I can appreciate the power of the CO2, I can't imagine doing super long procedures with the CO2 laser because I've never found one yet. And that's just me, but I haven't found one yet that feels really comfortable, that I'm like, yeah, that's not too heavy. It's not too awkward coming in. It takes up a much bigger footprint in the operatory. You got to roll it around and do all that. That pencil diode, you just pick it up, go. If I'm just troughing a crown, I don't need to be fancy with it. I'm just trying to open up enough so I can take a freaking impression. Like I'm not trying to be a rocket scientist here.
I totally agree.
Well,
totally agree.
In Texas, your hygienist can use diodes, correct, for intrasulcular therapy? or no?
Yeah, I mean, they have to be laser certified, but
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah. I'm
quite
just
quite
curious.
frankly, what does that really mean?
I know.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yes, but yes, they could. We really don't in our practice, but we could.
Okay.
Um, we do a lot of Aphthous ulcer treatment,
Yep.
frenectomies. I mean, gingivectomies. Lots of things that you can do with the laser.